What's going on, everybody? This is Joe.
And Amy.
And we are back with something new this time. Last time we tried out Momir, and it was a bust. But this time, we are going to try something a little bit different. We were going to just do a regular draft, and then we saw that Omniscience draft was the thing. We're losing time, so we're going to try to do as much of this as we can, or we're at least going to try it out, let's say. The draft is going to happen first. It is Core Set 2020 that we're going to be drafting. But it says, in Omniscience draft, we draft 3 packs, keep the cards we draft, but with a twist. We don't pay the mana costs for cards we cast. No need to put lands in your deck. You'll also get 1 mana of each color each turn to use for abilities, and every player starts with 3 cards in their hand instead of 7. So as you can see, the emblem says that. You can cast spells from your hand without paying their mana costs, add white, blue, black, red, green, activate this ability only once each turn. So, let's get into it and start the draft. How do we... Yeah, that's better. Okay. So what we're probably going to want to be looking for is busted stuff that's a lot of mana. Yeah. Because we don't have to... the mana cost is not a consideration. So, for example, Meteor Golem seems very good.
Yeah.
Because it's 7 mana normally for a 3/3, which is not impressive. But... now it's free for a 3/3, and when it enters the battlefield, we destroy target non-land permanent and opponent controls.
Yes.
Seems like a great card.
Yes, please.
Now, notably, we have other cards like Bag of Holding. Now, these have activated abilities. We will only have 5 mana each turn to activate abilities. So, we could use Bag of Holding, which says, whenever you discard a card, exile that card from your graveyard. You can tap 2, tap, draw a card, then discard a card. 4 mana, tap, sacrifice Bag of Holding, and return all cards exiled with Bag of Holding to their owner's hand. It's a little bit of a mana-intensive thing, but it's not bad. I don't think it's better than Meteor Golem from what we've seen. There's also Cerulean Drake, 1 and a blue for a 1/1. So again, their mana costs are somewhat irrelevant. I guess I'll skip that unless they have abilities that have mana costs. But this is a 1/1 flyer with protection from red, and you can sacrifice Cerulean Drake to counter target spell that targets you. In my opinion, still not better than Meteor Golem. Salvager of Ruin is a 2/1 artifact creature. Sacrifice it, choose a permanent in your graveyard that was put there from the battlefield this turn, return it to your hand. Not a bad effect, still not better than Meteor Golem. Dawning Angel, 3/2 flyer that you can gain 4 life when it comes in, not bad, but still not better. This enters with a +1/+1 counter on it from each other creature you control. That would be good if we had the deck for it, and we don't know what deck we have yet. Frostlinks is always a great card, taps something, and it doesn't untap during their next untap step. Chandra's Outrage is very good. 4 damage to target creature, 2 damage to that creature's controller.
Yes.
Very, very good card.
What about this skeleton?
The skeleton's always good, but again, it's 3 mana to activate its ability. So this card's good because you can keep recycling it over and over. It's a 1/2, but then for 3, you can return it from your graveyard to your hand. So you can, play him out, block with him, he dies. You tap 3, you get him back, you block with him, he dies. He's just always a blocker. Or if you have cards that care about you sacrificing creatures, you can always sacrifice this guy to those cards, get benefits from doing so, and then just get him back for 3 mana.
Okay, so this is one that's good with a contingency, basically.
Yeah, we have to have something that cares about it enough.
Right.
And or, again, worst comes to worst, he's just a forever creature, where we could block with him very aggressively or attack aggressively.
But if we only have 5 mana to use each turn
Correct.
For activated abilities,
Correct.
Then that means he's using over half of it every time we use him.
Correct.
So he's probably not the best for this specific format, I feel like.
Maybe. Also realize that it is... it can be done at instant speed.
All right.
It says only once each turn. Or does it say on your turn? I don't believe it does.
So he's a maybe.
He's a maybe. Again, still not better than Meteor Golem now, but this could be something on the wheel that we look for.
Yeah.
Or in other packs. Same thing with Chandra's Outrage.
I really like that Chandra's Outrage.
Better than Meteor Golem, you think?
No.
Okay. All right, but yes, we can keep an eye on future Chandra's Outrages. There's also this Heart Piercer bow. In the original limited format for Core Set 2020, Heart Piercer bow is very good if you got multiples of them. Its a quick cost is only 1, So we could activate that every turn. Whenever equipped creature attacks, Heart Piercer Bow deals 1 damage to target creature defending player controls. So again, very good in multiples, because if they have something with 2 toughness and you have 2 Heart Piercer Bows, you attack, automatically kill one of their creatures, and then they have to then try to find blockers.
Yeah.
So yeah, Heart Piercer Bows are good in that way. Growth Cycle is fine, especially if we have multiples. You can give it +3/+3. It gets an additional +2/+2 for each card named Growth Cycle in your graveyard. So if we get a bunch of those, it's good. The lands are useless. I mean, technically we can gain a life, but still. And then we do technically have extra mana to activate abilities if we end up with these lands.
Now, I see Duress. I know that that's a good card usually, but is it not in this particular?
I mean, so the thing is, I guess, with Duress is that if they have a big busted card, it's likely already out of their hand because they can play it whenever they want.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So as opposed to if you had a 7 mana card in your hand, normally if you were on 5 or 6 and they played Duress, you'd feel bad because you'd be like, well, I never got to play this Meteor Golem, but there's almost no way I'm not dropping Meteor Golem turn
as soon
2.
As you get it.
Well, not even as soon as you... Well, it depends, right? If it's your opening hand and you're playing first, no, because you don't have anything to destroy. But, yeah, otherwise, yeah, you're playing it as soon as there's a threat that you want to get rid of. So, is it Meteor Golem?
Yes.
Okay. Wow, that was loud in my headphones. Holy
I
crap.
heard it a little bit.
Oh, my God. All right. Sorry, everyone. Okay, so we have Yarok's Wave Crasher as our uncommon... The rare is out of here. When it enters, return another creature you control to its owner's hand, and it's a 4/4, which is fine.
I'm not thrilled with it.
Nope. Bloodthirsty Aerialist. Whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on it, and it's a 2/3 flyer. So if we had ways of gaining life, it's not bad, but for now, it's a 2/3 flyer. Mask of Immolation. Equip cost is 2, so be aware of that. When it enters, we create a 1/1 red elemental and then attach Mask of Immolation to it. So technically we wouldn't have to equip it to the elemental. Equipped creature has sack this creature. It deals 1 damage to any target.
Oh.
Right.
It made it seem like there was a lot of buildup, and I thought that like something good. No.
Nope. And then we're into the commons. So we have Inspired Charge. Creatures you control get +2/+1 until end of turn, which is not bad. It doesn't really give them trample, so if they have enough blockers, this isn't as helpful.
Yeah.
But it works, and it does work on defense as well, but it only pumps 1 toughness. This guy is a 3/2 Vigilance. When it dies, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. This is not a bad card. It's not really broken, where you can really gain benefits from it because of this format, but it's a fine card. Counterspell, counter target spell unless its controller pays 4.
Whoa.
Now, again, in this format, that's very good.
Yes.
Because they'd have to use all of their mana that they have extra for abilities, but notably, if they have nothing that... Right. But except if they have nothing else to use that mana on, then they won't care.
Yeah.
So, yeah, probably not this. This is a 1/1 flyer. When it enters, if we control another Fairy Miscreant, we draw a card. Not bad. We don't have enough yet.
Yeah.
Sleep Paralysis, though. When it enters, tap Enchanted Creature. Enchanted Creature doesn't untap. So we put this on one of their creatures, tap it down, and it never untaps.
It never untaps.
Not as long as this is on it.
Okay, that sounds good to me.
Yeah, I like that card a lot.
That one.
Okay, that's fine. I mean,
what's
again,
this other stuff?
Well, there's another Agonizing Siphon. There was one in the first pack as well. Deals 3 damage to any target, and you gain 3 life. That's something to consider. Good. It is good. I don't know that it's better than Sleep Paralysis, but it's very good. There was one in the last pack as well, but there was also a Meteor Golem. So, Winged Words. It costs less to cast if you control a creature with a flying, but that's irrelevant because we don't have to pay the mana. You just draw 2 cards.
Yeah.
Natural End, destroy an artifact or enchantment, another Duress, and a Scorch Spitter.
I love him.
I know you do. It's a 1/1. When it attacks, it deals 1 damage to the player or planeswalker it's attacking. Again, I don't think it's better than Sleep Paralysis or Agonizing Siphon. So I'll ask you, Amy, since we are not married to any color yet because we picked an artifact first, black card or blue card?
Oh, see, I really like the black one, but you really like the blue one.
Yeah.
And
all right, but you're the one who is learning. Would you like to try out the Agonizing Siphon then? We can make either one work, and I think both are good cards.
And they both cost 4.
Well, it doesn't matter how much they cost.
No, I know.
Oh.
But it's a good value if they cost like a decent amount.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like it's a better value than this maybe because
The
that
fairness
costs
rate,
1.
Yeah. But yeah, so we've got Sleep Paralysis here. Tap Enchanted Creature, and it doesn't untap during its controller's untap step. And Agonizing Siphon, 3 damage to any target, creature or opponent, and we gain 3 life.
Yeah.
Or Planeswalker. There are Planeswalkers in Core Set 2020, so.
Well, we did see this one in another pack, so why don't we pick the blue?
Okay.
Because it just makes me feel like maybe we'll see the red one again.
Okay.
Or the black one again.
So uncommons, God's Willing. We can give a creature we control protection from the color of our choice until end of turn, and we scry 1. Air Elemental is a 4/4 flyer. Woodland Champion. Whenever one or more tokens enter the battlefield under your control, put that many +1/+1 counters on Woodland Champion. We really don't have that right now. Not really the strategy we seem to be going for. And then we have Battalion Foot Soldier. When it enters the battlefield, we can search for more Battalion Foot Soldiers.
Okay.
So we'd have to have a bunch of those.
Dude has wicked hair. Check that out.
This guy?
Yeah.
A Moment of Heroism. Target creature gets +2/+2 and lifelink until end of turn. We can tap 2 to give something flying until end of turn, but we would need 2 mana every turn, which means we'd only be able to do it once because it's 1 blue. And we only get 1 blue per turn. So we'd only be able to give 1 creature flying with this, so not good. Duress again. Goblin Smuggler, a 2/2 with haste. Tap it. Another target creature with power 2 or less can't be blocked this turn. Reduce to Ashes. Ooh. 5 damage to target creature. If it would die, exile it instead.
That sounds amazing.
A 3/5 with Reach. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control. Or a 1/1 Death Toucher. So, my estimation,
skeleton.
there's the skeleton, the Reduce to Ashes, and the Air Elemental are the 2 big ones.
I love Air Elementals.
Well, that's why I figured I'd ask. We already have 1 blue card in Sleep Paralysis. Doesn't mean we have to use Sleep Paralysis. But we have Reduce to Ashes, Air Elemental. Technically, I like Rabid Bite a lot as well. I figure I'll just throw that in there, but yeah.
But I really like Reduce to Ashes.
You want to try this one?
Yeah.
You got it. Right now, we're blue-red. Again, we don't have to be that way forever.
Okay.
Veil of Summer. Instant. Draw a card if an opponent has cast a blue or black spell this turn. Spells you control can't be countered this turn, and you and permanents you control gain hexproof from blue and black until end of turn. An Angelic Gift. When it enters, draw a card. An enchanted creature has flying. You can put it on one of your creatures and give it flying, and draw a card when you do so.
Okay.
A 1/1 that you can tap to gain 1 life. Anticipate is look at the top 3 cards of your library, put 1 of them into your hand, and the rest on the bottom in any order. Just a 3/2 creature. A 5/5 Death Touch creature.
Ooh.
Chandra's Embercat. You can tap to add a red and spend it only to cast an elemental spell or a Chandra Planeswalker spell.
No.
Fire Elemental is a 5/4. Scorch Spitter again. A Ferocious Pup. When it enters, you get a 2/2 wolf as well. And a Prismite that you can tap 2 to add 1 mana of any color, which seems not as useful. Although, for like that enchantment that we had, or that we that we looked at, where you had to tap a blue and 1 to give something flying, this would be able to be a way to get another blue. But it seems like a very, very bad roundabout way of getting not a very good effect.
Yeah.
So, what stands out to you in this pack?
The Feral Abomination definitely does. But if that does, then the Fire Elemental kind of too.
Okay.
And if we're in red, maybe that makes a bit more sense, but it doesn't have Death Touch.
Right. And technically 1 less point of toughness, if that's relevant.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's... Your reasoning is very sound still.
Okay. I think the Angelic Gift was one I liked.
Draw a card, and enchanted creature has flying?
It's just till end of turn, or...
No, it's an enchantment. It stays on.
Okay. That's kind of cool.
It is. Yeah.
It's just not as good as the other 2, I feel like.
That's fair. Okay, so do you want to dip into black because this creature's a little bit better, or is it not good enough and you want to just stick with a red card?
You know what? Let's pick the red.
Sure. Still very loud in my headphones. Good lord. Okay, well, now we have Eternal Isolation. Put target creature with power 4 or greater on the bottom of its owner's library. Another Angelic Gift. Inspired Charge again. Fortress Crab.
I love him.
It's a 1/6. Epicure of Blood. Whenever you gain life, each opponent loses 1 life. Lavakin Brawler. Whenever it attacks, it gets +1/+0 until end of turn for each elemental you control, and it's a 2/4.
No. Well, we do already have an elemental.
We sure do. Another Growth Cycle. Plummet. Destroy target creature with a flying. Another 1/1 Death Toucher, and a 4/4. It's just a 4/4 artifact creature.
But he's cool.
He's kind of cool. So, what stands out to you in this pack, besides the Fortress Crab that you love?
Well, the Angelic Gift. I like the Epicure of Blood, but that would only work if we had something that gained us life, which...
Correct, and we aren't in black yet,
Right.
although, again, we're not that many picks in, so it's possible. But actually, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to completely dismiss the Fortress Crab. We are in red-blue currently, so if you wanted to pick Fortress Crab, that's fine. There's only one of each, one red, one blue option for us,
Right.
And I don't think this is a bad option. I didn't mean to make it seem that way with what I was saying.
Yeah. The Lavakin Brawler... We do have an elemental already.
Yeah, we sure do.
But we didn't take that blue elemental.
Oh, the air elemental.
Yeah.
Nope. Well, we do still have 2 more packs. It's possible we get another one, but who knows?
I would doubt it.
That's fair.
I don't know. I think I'll divert to you on this one.
Well, we're early on, and it seems like with a reduced to ashes that can destroy creatures and exile them, a big high-powered fire elemental, and a sleep paralysis to tap down one of their guys, we see much more aggressive than defensive.
Yeah.
So between this card that could possibly get pumped to be more powerful, or this card that is very clearly defensive, it seems like this would be the better option for us.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
That's my rationale.
Okay.
Okay, so we are running low on red and blue, notably. Also notably, good lord, there's an overcome in this pack. Creatures you control get +2/+2 and gain trample until end of turn.
Ooh.
This is a card that can win you the game. In fact, it won me many games in Corset 2020.
And it's a green card.
Correct.
And this is now the third one of those serpent things
Growth Cycle.
that we have seen.
Yeah.
And if I recall correctly, that one benefits from there being more than one of it.
That's right. It gets an additional +2/+2 for each card named Growth Cycle in your graveyard. Yeah.
So if we take the overcome, then maybe we are red-green, and we try to collect up as many more growth cycles as we can cycle.
Nice. Very nice. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's fair. There are notably red and black cards in this pack as well. We have another skeleton. We have a Fathom Fleet Cutthroat, 3 and a black for a 3/3. When it enters the battlefield, destroy target creature and opponent controls that was dealt damage this turn. So if you attack, they block, and then you play this guy out, you can kill one of their things. Blade Brand, target creature gains death touch until end of turn, draw a card.
Okay.
And then Daybreak Chaplain is a 1/3 lifelinker. And Glaring Aegis, when it enters, tap target creature and opponent controls. And this is an enchantment aura that goes on one of your creatures that gives it +1/+3. Those are our other things that are there.
Stays there.
Yeah, it's an aura. Yeah, it stays on. I mean, Overcome is definitely better than any other.
Let's pick Overcome.
Okay. And so now blue comes back a little. So we have Pulse of Marasa. 2 and a black. That's not black at all. That's green. Wow. Return target creature or land from a graveyard to its owner's hand, and you gain 6 life.
Wow.
So you can get something back from your graveyard to your hand and gain 6.
That seems good.
Especially because the downside to these cards usually is that you have to pay mana to activate them. So then you're getting something back and then you're not able to play it. But because we don't have to pay mana for things, you just play this for free, get something back, gain 6 life, and then play that for free.
This is only 3 mana anyway.
Right.
It seems like a really good card to me.
Well, yeah. But I mean, and it says creature or land. So like we wouldn't be able to get back Overcome. We wouldn't be able to get back Reduced to Ashes. But we could get back Fire Elemental, Lavakin Brawler, or any other creatures that we get that are good. But yeah, just to be something to be aware of. There's also Maniacal Rage. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2 and can't block, so it stays on the creature. Now, the thing with Maniacal Rage is you can either put it on your creature and just make it bigger and it can't block because who the hell cares, you're going to be attacking forever. Or you put it on one of their creatures because we're more aggressive. You give their creature +2/+2, but now it can't block. And so, you know, you just swing in and they can't block with it anymore.
Nice.
So
I feel like this person just is me.
this Maniacal Rage woman warrior person. Right. She looks like a member of the Gruul, even though this is in a corset, but...
Or maybe like a Rakdos.
Yeah,
lady.
I mean, it's red.
Is it a lady or a man?
It looks like a woman to me, but...
I thought it was a man until I looked closer, and now it looks like a lady, but I don't think it matters. Anyway.
All right. So, and then there's an Anticipate and a Zephyr Charge in blue. We already said Zephyr Charge, not good.
Charge.
Anticipate's fine.
Yeah, it's okay, but...
So what if anything...
I really like that green card.
Pulse of Marasa?
Yeah.
Sure, we can do this. You like it?
But if we don't have enough creatures...
Well, we need creatures. Like, we're going to need creatures in our deck. Oh, sorry. Also, Meteor Golem is a creature. Just throwing that out there.
What's... Okay. Yeah, let's pick that one.
Sure.
Yeah.
I like it.
I'm not going to sit here and second guess myself.
No problem. All right, so we have no green in this pack. We have one red card, which we've seen already in the Goblin Smuggler. In fact,
haste.
He does have haste, so he's a 2/2 with haste, and he can give another creature with power 2 or less the ability to not be blocked. Now, I think that works with Lavakin Brawler. I think. So you use this before combat. It says that it can't be blocked this turn. And then when you attack with it, it gets bigger. I think that will work. Okay. I'm relatively certain.
That sounds
There's also Metropolis Sprite. It is a 1/2 with flying, and you can tap a blue, which you would only be able to, in this format, do once a turn, to give it +1/-1 until end of turn, which means it would be a 2/1. To be fair, you wouldn't want to do it more than once, because then it would die. Unless it were bigger.
Yeah, no.
There's another Fairy Miscreant as well. There's a Raise the Alarm in white. Yeah. You can make soldiers or whatever. And a Vial of Dragonfire, 2 mana artifact, and then for 2 mana tap, sack Vial of Dragonfire. It deals 2 damage to target creature.
That's cool.
So.
But if you think that goblin can work, then I like him.
Well, it will work on the lava. It might work on the Lavakin Brawler. That's the only thing that we have so far that it would work on.
Yeah.
But it's also a 2/2 with haste. If it, doesn't do anything else.
Right.
All right. So you want this one?
Yeah.
You got it. Hey, look, a growth cycle.
Ooh.
Otherwise, there's a Heart Piercer Bow that we talked about.
Yeah.
This is our wheeling pack. This is the Salvager of Ruin that we have as our uncommon as well.
You mentioned those things, and I didn't love them.
Okay, so what would you like? There's also the skeleton in here as well.
Yeah.
There's an Audacious Thief, which we didn't talk about. 2/2. Whenever it attacks, we draw a card and lose a life.
Yeah. I like the growth cycle. I'm hoping that we can get a couple more.
You got it. So growth cycle is there. There's a Scorch Spitter still here.
Ooh.
And there's a Fairy Miscreant.
Natural end?
Natural end is destroy an artifact or enchantment, gain 3 life.
That seems good.
I don't recall. Well, think about it. Think about how many artifacts and enchantments we've seen that we've been happy about.
Yeah.
So if there aren't a ton, then this will not be as useful to us as, let's say, this.
Yeah. Okay.
Plus, it's your Scorch Spitter. You love him.
Yeah, I love him.
You want to take him?
Yeah.
All right. There's another Goblin Smuggler.
Oh.
A blue card, a Duress, the Zephyr Charge, a Duress, or a Moment of Heroism, +2/+2, and lifelink on a creature until end of turn.
That seems cool.
This?
Yeah.
It's in white. But, am I dumb? I'm dumb, aren't I?
What?
Who cares what colors we're in? We don't have to pay for anything. What?
Oh, so could we just take whatever?
Yeah, you take the best card in the pack. I'm
can
a
we start
fool.
over?
Nope. Not unless we want to pay more gems and start over. But this is only pack 1. So now going into pack 2.
Oh.
Like, it doesn't... Like, this is not our deck yet. I'm just an idiot. I apologize, everyone.
Yeah, well, that's
People are
how
probably screaming at
that's
me.
how
But,
I originally
well,
thought
this is
too.
drafting, right? I'm so in the drafting mindset.
That's how I originally thought
you
it
just
too,
picked the best
but
card in the
then
pack.
you started like talking about the
I'm
colors, so I was
stupid.
like, okay, I guess we still have to pick the right colors, even though we don't have to pay the mana.
Nope, because we're not putting any lands in our deck, so it doesn't matter.
Right.
I'm a fool. I apologize, Amy, and to all of you listening/watching. So regardless, what is the best card in this pack? You like
Yes.
Moment of Heroism? Done. I am a fool. Okay. Well, there's a 2/1 that we can tap to change colors of mana. There's a 3/2 vanilla vampire, or there is a Soulmender 1/1 you can tap to gain 1 life.
Yeah, I guess that one. Then.
Okay. He works pretty well. You'd be surprised. Your Fortress Crab came back.
I love him.
Destroy target creature with flying, or a 4/4.
I actually like the plummet.
The Plummet. Okay. Bladebrand. Target creature give
Yes.
something death touch and then draw a card. And a land, which can probably go on our sideboard. Well, would you look at what we have here? This is an interesting pack, actually.
Hopefully, it's good cards because most of what we have is not.
Okay.
We're going to be playing against some people who have some really good stuff.
Yep, and we will have some good stuff as well. Boom. It's a 7/6. At the beginning of your upkeep, discard a card.
Yes.
We have a 2/1 with Flash. Whenever you cast a spell during an opponent's turn, you put a +1/+1 counter on it. We don't have a ton of instants necessarily. We have a 5/5. Now it's 7 mana, but it doesn't matter.
Right.
It's a 5/5 with reach. And when it enters the battlefield, we make 2 wolves.
Yes.
Moldervine Reclamation is an enchantment that says whenever a creature we control dies, we gain a life and draw a card.
No. Howling Giant.
Howling Giant?
Yes.
Just
Yes.
without looking at... Okay. You got it. That's fine. That's... Ooh. A Cavalier of Flame. It is a 6/5 for 1 and a red, which we could do on our turn. Only once, but still. Creatures we control get +1/+0 and gain haste until end of turn. So the plus to power you could do more often, but obviously multiple instances of haste is not relevant.
Yeah.
When it enters the battlefield, discard any number of cards, then draw that many cards. So any cards that we have in our hand that we don't like, we could discard and draw other ones. And when it dies, it deals X damage to each opponent and each planeswalker they control, where X is the number of land cards in your graveyard, which we will...
Great card.
We will not have land cards in our graveyard because we will not have land cards in our deck. It is still a 6/5. Once per turn, we can basically give our whole team haste, which means any creatures that we have played that turn will all be able to instantly attack.
Yeah. We'll be able to get rid of a lot of the shit that we accidentally picked.
But only when it enters.
Right.
The moment that it enters the battlefield.
Right. I'm just saying, like, if we end up drawing any one of these things
Yeah.
and we're like, ah, crap.
I hear you. There are also 3 uncommons. We have Devout Decree. Exile target creature or planeswalker that is black or red, and scry 1. Chandra's Spitfire. Whenever an opponent is dealt non-combat damage, Chandra's Spitfire gets +3/+0 until end of turn. So it would have to be from a spell or an ability of a creature or whatever. Iron Root Warlord is an 0/5 whose power is equal to the number of creatures you control. And then for 5 mana, which would be every turn, we could do this once, but only once. And that
we
would be
could do
all of our
nothing else
allotted
with that,
mana.
yeah.
We could make a 1/1 white soldier, but it gives us more creatures, which makes his power bigger. That's the point.
I like that one.
Better than the Cavalier of Flame? It's possible. I'm just asking.
toughie.
Yeah, it is a toughie. It's definitely a toughie.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, that, in my opinion, is probably your choice. Do you want the Warlord or the Cavalier of Flame? Each of them has an ability that you would likely want to activate each turn. It's just that, and that this one is an X5, and this one is a 6/5.
Yeah. But that one doesn't make a token.
Correct. It just gives everything that you've played that turn haste. And the ability to attack right away.
Which is good.
Correct.
All right. The 6 will make it beneficial faster
Right.
than the X or O.
Right. Well, because if you play this on an empty board
Right.
and then use its ability, it's a 1/5.
Right.
Or, sorry, a 2/5, because the number of creatures you control. It will always be a 1/5 while it's on the field at minimum. But if you use its ability once, then yeah, it's only a 2/5, whereas this is always a 6/5.
Right.
If not a 7/5 when it uses its ability.
Yeah.
So
I think that's a little better.
I would agree. I would agree with that. Okay. So now we have a couple of different options. Ooh, some interesting cards here. Vengeful War Chief is a 4/4. Whenever you lose life for the first time each turn, you put a +1/+1 counter on him. Damage that we take from our opponent is loss of life. So if we get attacked or whatever. Fry. It can't be countered, and it deals 5 damage to target creature or planeswalker that is white or blue. Angelic Gift again. Sage's Row Denizen. Whenever another blue creature enters the battlefield under your control, so that's somewhat irrelevant. You would have an opponent put the top 2 cards of the library into their graveyard. It's a 2/3 creature, is really what this is going to benefit us with.
Yeah. Well, you see, all of these that are specifying certain colors that they're only working against.
Right.
Normally, I wouldn't love those because if we don't play against a deck that contains that color, then it's not helpful. But in this particular game, we know that most every deck is going to have every color.
Unless they forget, like we did originally, but we eventually figured it out.
So maybe it's a lot more beneficial now to go with a card
Maybe.
like that.
It is still pretty limited, though. Like, realize that this still says white or blue, creature or planeswalker. Let's look at our list currently. We have this white creature, and that's it. All our powerful stuff, like this, is red.
Yeah.
If you had Fry in your hand and you were facing down this Cavalier of Flame, you'd feel awful. Because it would take 5 damage to kill this thing, and this deals 5 damage, but it's not white or blue, so you wouldn't be able to do it. It's still pretty limited.
I know you like this black one.
This Vengeful War Chief?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not bad. There's other options, though. We haven't looked at the rest. There's Bone Splinters. If we sack a creature, you can destroy a creature.
Oh. Ooh, that might be good. Because we took a lot of things that we didn't mean to take.
We probably don't have to... Well, we won't have to play every card. We only need 40. So,
right.
Gorging Vulture is a 2/2 flyer, but when it enters the battlefield, we have to put the top 4 cards of our library into our graveyard, and we gain 1 life for each creature put into our graveyard this way. Now, realize every single time that I've seen this Gorging Vulture used, it has milled someone's best thing. So imagine that we play the Gorging Vulture, and our Cavalier of Flame and our Meteor Golem go to the graveyard. Just FYI. Or our Howling Giant. Like...
Yeah.
It's whatever. It's a 2/2 flyer, which is nice, but you lose 4 cards off the top of your deck.
No.
Or, yeah, 4. There's another Goblin Smuggler. There is a Rabid Bite, so we can have one of our creatures deal damage equal to its power to one of theirs. A 2/1 Flying First Strike. Another Heart Piercer Bow, and another Vial of Dragonfire. So, what stands out to you in this pack?
I don't know.
Okay, well, you talked about Fry, right?
No.
Okay.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I talked about the style of card that Fry is.
Okay.
Because I passed by a lot of other things that probably would have been better than I thought they were.
Gotcha.
For that reason.
Okay.
But that's irrelevant here.
Right. Okay. So to me, things that stand out, I mean, you talked about liking Angelic Gift.
Yeah.
I like Rabid Bite as well. I like Bone Splinters, and I like this Vengeful War Chief.
Okay.
So narrowing it down to those 4, what looks good?
To me, the Angel and the Splinters.
Okay. So which would you prefer?
Rabid Bite again?
Rabid Bite, one of your creatures deals damage equal to its power to a creature we don't control. So we can just kill one of their creatures with one of our bigger creatures and then still attack with it, later on in the turn or whatever.
Yeah, no.
Okay, so you narrowed it down to the gift and the splinters?
Yeah.
All right, so which one do you think? Or do you want me to pick?
Yeah.
Yeah? Because I'm going to pick the bone splinters. It's a destroy target creature, any creature.
Yeah.
So, yeah, bone splinters it is. Okay, devout decree, exile a creature or planeswalker that's black or red. Yeah. Scry 1. Veil of Summer again, draw a card if an opponent...
I don't like that one.
Very good. Another angelic gift. Another moment of heroism, +2/+2 and lifelink until end of turn. A pacifism.
Ooh, that's a good card.
A befuddle, target creature gets -4/-0 until end of turn and draw a card. As long as it's your turn, this 2/2 has lifelink. Another duress. A dagger sail aeronaut, as long as it's your turn, it has flying. A destructive digger. 3 tap, sack an artifact or land, draw a card. We have very few of both.
Right.
And a netcaster spider. A 2/3 with reach, and whenever it blocks a creature with flying, it gets +2/+0 until end of turn. So if it's blocking a flyer, it's a 4/3.
Cool.
So there's like these white cards up here in Angelic Gift, Moment of Heroism, Pacifism. I think you said that you thought the Blood Burglar was cool, and maybe this flyer, the spider.
Yeah, I like the spider, the pacifism, all the white stuff, and the spider.
Okay. So what's your thought?
I don't know. Let's look at the white stuff.
Sure. So there's the Angelic Gift again, which we know. You draw a card, and whatever creature you put this on has flying. +2/+2 and lifelink on one of your creatures until end of turn. Or pacifism, something can't attack or block.
Is that until end of turn? Or
No, that's forever. That is in aura.
Okay.
Auras stay on the creatures.
Yeah, I think the pacifism.
It's a good choice. Angel of Vitality.
Wow.
It's a 2/2 flyer. If you would gain life, you gain that much life +1 instead. And it gets +2/+2 as long as you have 25 or more life.
I don't like that one.
Fair enough. An enchantment. Each player can't cast more than one spell each turn.
Oh, that's fun. That's a fun card.
Especially in this format.
I don't want it, though.
Really? Interesting. Okay. Glaring Aegis. When it enters the battlefield, tap target creature an opponent controls, and it's an aura, so one of our creatures would permanently get +1/+3.
Ooh.
Raise the Alarm. We get 2/1/1 soldiers. Negate counter target non-creature spell. Boneclad Necromancer. When it enters, we can exile a creature card from any graveyard, ours or our opponent's, and if we do, we get a 2/2 black zombie. And it's a 3/3. Destructive Digger again, not a good card. Gift of Paradise would have to enchant a land, which we're going to have very few of, if any. Greenwood Sentinel is a 2/2 Vigilance. And another Plummet, destroy target creature with flying.
Okay, guys, so I'm having trouble picking these cards. Mostly it's because, look, we kind of didn't do this right.
Well, you say we. I messed up in the beginning. I really, really did. It's a new format for us. I just didn't do this correctly.
Yeah, we just forgot that we didn't need to care about the colors, and we could just pick the best card every time. And so we have a lot of stuff that we don't necessarily want or need. And so now I'm just here, like, really beating myself up about not knowing what the best card is out of each lot here. So basically, I think I'm just going to concede my power here to Joe, and he is going to determine what the best card is. And he will explain to us why it's the best.
I'm definitely going to give the rationale, but at least then it's less feel bad in terms of like, oh well, Amy, you picked Gift of Paradise and we don't have a land, so congrats. Like that's not good, and we spent gold or on this or whatever.
Right.
So okay. So here's what stands out to me in this pack. There are a couple of things that I was thinking about. Rule of Law actually intrigues me, and I'll tell you why. Everything in our hands is free.
Right.
So we could play out our whole hand on turn 1 if it was full of permanents or instants that helped us out in some way. For example, if we drop Cavalier of Flame and a bunch of other creatures all on turn 1, we can then use its ability, give everything we have +1/+0 and haste, and attack our opponent for like 1,000,000. Like if Cavalier of Flame and Howling Giant are in our opening hand, that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, but...
And 6 is 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. We could bring our opponent to 1 on turn 1.
Yeah, but you have to realize, too, this card puts us and our opponent on more of an even keel because we can each only cast... Wait.
Can't cast more than 1 each turn. So we
Right.
can only cast 1 spell each turn.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and...
It limits our opponent from doing something busted like that as well. That's
Right.
that's my only
But
point.
the problem is their deck's going to be more busted than ours.
Right. So that's fine. I'm just saying to you, that was something that stood out to me.
Okay.
Boneclad Necromancer is also pretty good. It's a 3/3 creature, which is not insane, but it's a fine body. In fact, it's the largest thing here besides this, which is a 3/2. But this gives us a 2/2 as well if we exile any creature from any graveyard, ours or our opponent's.
Oh.
So it would be 5 power and 5 toughness across 2 creatures. So if it's not Rule of Law, which I would just do, I would take because I would be intrigued by it in this particular format. If we had not messed up in the beginning of pack 1, I probably would have more pushed for that. But I think Boneclad Necromancer is going to be the choice here.
I agree.
Awesome. So next we have Gauntlets of Light. Is an enchant creature, so we'll put it on one of our creatures. It gets +0/+2 and assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power, and it also has for 2 and a white, untap this creature. It's not bad. You'd have to put it on the right thing. We didn't take your crab. If we had, this would make it a 1/8 that would assign power or damage equal to its power toughness, so it would be like an 8/8 essentially, which would be great, but we didn't take that. So here we are. Counter target creature spell, draw a card, seems very good in this format. Convolute does not, as we talked about. Epicure of Blood, we don't really have a ton of life gain. This flying on our turn, 3/2, is not bad. +3/+2 until end of turn, Scorch Spitter's fine. We already have 1. Centaur Courser, 3/3, is fine. Feral Invocation, Flash, +2/+2 is great, actually.
Yeah.
Because we can do this on our opponent's turn for free and mess up combat, or we could do it during combat on our turn for free.
Yeah.
And a Netcaster Spider is also great.
Yeah,
if they
so
have
it's
flyers.
definitely between those 2 green and the Bone to Ash.
Right, exactly. So I think Bone to Ash is a nice thing to have, but I haven't seen any other Feral Invocations yet, and I think this one is very good for us.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to take this one.
Okay. I'm happy with that.
A Sedge Scorpion is a fine card. There's another Lavakin Brawler, although now that we're taking everything, the Scorch Spitter is an elemental, so that's 1. The Lavakin Brawler is its own elemental. Right. The Cavalier is an elemental. The Fire Elemental is an elemental.
I did not realize the Cavalier was.
Yeah,
wow.
This whole cycle, they're all elementals.
Cool.
And there is still a third pack. So, like, for me, Manifold Key untaps another artifact or target creature can't be blocked this turn, but it's 3 mana, so I don't love that. Destroy target artifact or enchantment, no. The Angelic Gift, you weren't wrong. It's not bad, but I'm still... This is better by a lot. I feel like this is fine. Like, it's 1 mana.
Right.
This is fine as well. I would definitely take this if this wasn't here.
Okay.
But I think another Lavakin Brawler and to
because it's another one of its own elementals.
Right, and to more prioritize elementals is good in this instance. So, yeah, I'm going to say Lavakin Brawler. God. There's another...
Turn down the volume, you know?
I can't. There's another Reduced to Ashes, which is great. 3/2, when it enters, you make another zombie for each card named Undead Servant in your graveyard, which we don't have any of yet. Act of Treason is fine. I kind of always lean away from these because you have to be able to win like that turn. Now, if you do Act of Treason followed by Overcome, you're probably good because you take one of their blockers off the board, plus you increase their creature's power and toughness. And it gains trample with all your other guys. Flying and vigilance is good, but it's only 1 power. This is better. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn. I like that. I just don't know that I like it more than reduced to ashes.
Okay.
It's tough, though, because 1, 2, technically more than 2, but 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11? We only have 11 creatures?
That's not that bad.
It's not. We haven't seen a ton of reduced to ashes, but we haven't seen any of these either, but
No.
I'll still take a reduced to ashes over this. I don't know that it's the right choice, but I'm going to do it.
I'm okay with it.
Feral Abomination is a definite
Yes.
take here.
Yes.
It's so good.
Absolutely.
It's such a good card. 5/5 Death Touch
Yeah.
for free.
No,
It's just so
absolutely.
good.
Don't know why it's still there.
Hey, you're crap. Or another fire elemental, and we're heavily leaning towards elementals with our Lavakin
Yes.
Brawler.
Yes.
So I'm going to take this fire elemental.
Fine.
Sorry, Fortress Crab and Amy.
Love him.
Also, Aerial Assault is very, very good. Destroy target tapped creature. You gain 1 life for each creature you control with flying.
What?
It's very good.
Let's take that one.
Over the fire elemental?
Yeah.
You got it. Well, do we want an enchantment that gives things flying, an enchantment that gives things flying, or a thing with flying? I
think a thing with flying.
Yeah, I actually like the
Because of the
Anvil
card that
Raptor
we
here,
just
yeah.
took.
The destroy a tapped creature, gain more life. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, and I mean, because the Goblin Smuggler's here as well, but, this is just a cool card.
Yeah.
It's expensive, which is why it's not good, usually, but we don't
okay,
have to worry about
perfect.
that, because, yeah. My ears. Okay, Moment of Heroism, again, out of these 4, yes. Rule of Law is still here.
I don't want you to take that. Ours is going to be worse than theirs.
That's fair. I agree with you. So then we'll take this. I just don't know the way we play it, but I mean, it taps something that they have. It pumps our toughness, but still, that's fair. We get, Gauntlets of Light or the Scorch Spitter. I would take the Scorch Spitter, to be honest.
Just because we didn't take the crab.
Well, we didn't take the crab, in general, we don't want things to assign damage, especially with our Lavakin Brawlers. This says it assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power.
Right.
Sure, but then when it attacks, it gets buffs to its power, but it assigns damage equal to its toughness. So that's a non-bow with the Lavakin Brawlers. It's bad with Anvil Raptor.
Okay.
It's bad with Cavalier Flame.
Yeah. Okay. So the Scorcher, that's fine.
Scorch Spitter. And a Disenchant. Sure. We'll put it in this. Fine. It's in the main deck. Who cares? Okay. There's a couple of things here.
Broker of Blood.
Yeah, Villis, Broker of Blood, is an 8/8 flyer.
He is so cool. I love him.
Whenever we lose life, we draw that many cards, which is great in a deck where nothing costs anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's probably just Villis. We do have an Angel
Hate
of
it.
Vitality. We have a Season of Growth. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under our control, we scry 1. And whenever we cast a spell that targets a creature we control, draw a card. Creeping Trailblazer. Other elementals we control get +1/+0.
Ooh.
And for 4 mana, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each elemental we control.
Ooh.
That's a cool card. I just don't, unfortunately, even with our strategy, don't think it's better than Villis.
Yeah, I have to agree.
Daybreak Chaplain's a 1/3. Frostlinks is fine. Another Griffin Protector I said we'd keep an eye out for. Boneclad Necromancer is a cool card. Silverback Shaman is awesome.
good.
5/4 Trample when he dies, draw a card. And a Marauder's Axe is fine, but it is not better than Villis. We are taking Villis.
Especially since it doesn't matter what colors we have.
Or how expensive he is.
Right.
Speaking of which, Scholar of the Ages. When it enters the battlefield, return up to 2 target instant and or sorcery cards from your graveyard to your hand. And it's a 3/3 creature as well. So, instants and sorceries. Bone Splinters.
Okay.
Destroy target creature. Disenchant. Moments of Heroism.
Yeah. Oh, and we have a couple of those.
We have 2. Blade Brand. Give something Death Touch.
Pacifism.
All of the growth cycles, although we only currently have 1, notably.
Right.
Plummet. Destroying a creature with a flying. Aerial Assault, destroying a tapped creature and gaining life.
Wow. okay. So we have a lot more than I thought we did.
Pulse of Marasa, which would return a creature or a land.
Okay.
So we could use the Scholar of the Ages, return a Pulse of Marasa, and then return another creature.
Nice. Yeah, no, I like this one.
Yeah, it's very
I
good.
don't think we need to keep going with that.
2 reduced to ashes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very good. Tonebound Lich, just to check, it's a 1/3 Death Touch lifelink. When it enters the battlefield or deals combat damage to a player, draw a card, then discard. Definitely not better than this.
No.
Pattern Matcher, search your library for a card with the same name as another creature you control. No. Flying Vigilance 1/3. No. Okay. There's another reduced to ashes here, notably, but that wheeled last time, so maybe it'll wheel this time as well. Scholar of the Ages it is. Gruesome Scourger. 5 mana, 3/3, but the mana is irrelevant. When it enters, it deals damage to target opponent or planeswalker equal to the number of creatures you control.
Oh, that's good.
That is good. There's another Vengeful War Chief. Whenever you lose life, put a counter on it. Another Pulse of Marasa. Raise the Alarm, a Steadfast Sentry. All right, so I know you've been giving your opinion, and if you still want me to choose, that's fine.
Yes, I do. I definitely want you to choose with this a lot of
Damn
them.
it.
This is hard.
Well, I was going to say, so I was going to narrow it down in my head.
This Thicket Crasher.
Thicket Crasher is a great card. 4/3, other elementals you control have trample.
And look how cool he looks.
He does look cool. I assume we would have more of an opportunity to
and
find...
he's an elemental.
Right. And he gives other elementals trample.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would still... So it's for me, it's between the Scourger and the Thicket Crasher, I think. That's
Go
the
back
tough
to the
part.
Scourger.
Scourger is a 3/3. When it enters, it deals damage to target opponent or planeswalker equal to the number of creatures we control. So it goes directly to their face. I know. It's tough.
It's really hard.
How many elementals do we have? 2, because now we have a second Scorch Spitter.
Oh, he's an elemental too?
Yes.
Oh, it's so good. I thought he was just a little guy.
2 Lavakin Brawlers as well. 1 Cavalier, 1 Fire Elemental. I think that's it. Yeah. So what? 6, 5?
That's a lot.
But
there'll be another elemental if we pick the Rhino.
Yeah, I know. Fine. Let's go with the elemental plan. Ooh, a Feral Abomination again.
Ooh.
He's very good.
He is. What's the other one that you would want here?
Rabid Bite.
Rabid Bite.
I just love Rabid Bite. It's an amazing card.
Do.
Well, and again, if we use Rabid Bite with the Feral Abomination, it automatically kills any creature they have. It could be a 20/20, but it deals the Feral Abomination is what deals the damage. It's got Death Touch. So, yeah, that's why I just
All
like
right,
Rabid
so we
Bite
can
a lot.
take the Rabid Bite.
Well, no, we have 1. A second one is better.
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
Especially because it's free.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
That's why it's
I
good.
agree it's better, but
All right.
you're the one talking about Rabid Bite.
Here's another Pulse. There's also another Elemental, but it's only a 2/2. And it adds red, but it to cast Elementals or Chandras, which we're not going to get a Chandra in the next 4 picks or whatever.
No.
There's another Scorch Spitter, which is also an Elemental.
Yeah, but he's a 1/1, so why wouldn't we pick the 2/2?
Well, he automatically deals 1 damage
Oh, that's
when
why.
he attacks. Plus, he's an Elemental. But there's also another Pulse, so we can just get stuff back.
Yeah.
And gain 6. It's a tough one. Yeah, I think I would lean more towards the Pulse here.
Okay.
That very well could be wrong, just FYI. There's another Scorch Spitter.
Okay.
Another Bone Splinters. A Bone to Ash.
Yes.
An Unholy Indenture. When an enchanted creature dies, return that card to the battlefield under your control with a +1/+1 counter on it. We could put that on our creature. We could put that on one of our opponent's creatures. Whatever we want. There's another Thicket Crasher.
Yes.
And there's a Might of the Masses. Target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each creature you control. This is rough. I don't like it.
No, the rough would be the wolf.
Nice. Very nice. It's a hound. So even more appropriate. Or unless you were talking about...
No, I was talking about that.
Okay, yeah. It's a pack mastiff. I am going to pick the Bone Splinters, though.
Okay.
Especially with 2 Pulse of Marasa that can return creatures. Sacking creatures is not a big deal. Destroying creatures is absolutely a big deal. So I'm going to take this Bone Splinters here. This pack is insane. Everything in here, almost everything in here is great. I could probably justify anything. This 3/5 reach, this 2/3 reach that gets bigger, like anything at all. But I really want this, like, we don't have a lot of removal.
Right.
So.
Okay. I agree.
Okay. There's another Lavakin Brawler.
Yeah.
What is Yarok's Fen Lurker? A 1/1 when it enters, each opponent exiles a card from their hand, but you have to tap 3 to make it bigger, so no, not good enough. Fairy Miscreant and Metropolis Sprite are not good enough. Ferocious Pup is not good enough. Brightwood Tracker needs 6 mana to activate, so no.
Damn,
Destroy a land and creatures without flying can't block this turn. That's not bad once. I think the Lavakin Brawler is better than another Boneclad Necromancer.
Okay.
So...
All about it. Dragon Mage.
It's a Dragon Mage. It's a 5/5 flyer. When it deals combat damage to a player, each player discards their hand and then draws 7 cards.
Ooh.
Now that helps...
That could benefit us if we end up with a bunch of crap in our hand.
And or nothing in our hand because we play it all because it's free.
Oh.
The problem is our opponent would likely be doing the same thing.
Right.
And so it could benefit them as well. But it is a 5/5 flyer. We have a Goblin Ringleader. Reveal the top 4 cards of your library, put all goblins. We do not have a lot of goblins.
And it's not the kind of thing with the Dragon Mage where you can pay for it to do that. It just does it.
It's whenever it deals combat damage to a player. So it has to get through and hit them.
Okay.
But our opponent may be happy enough to take 5 because then we then get first crack at those 7 cards in our second main phase. So, and we play them for free. Usually that's the problem, is that, like, it's only your second main phase, but you don't have to pay mana for anything. So we could just get 7 cards, drop them on the field, and pass. There's also a Feral Invocation, which I like a lot.
Yeah, I do too.
But I don't think, like, this is a great opportunity.
Okay, so let's take it.
Weird hand. Weird picks.
I don't really like that.
No, me neither. No. There's a 1/3 lifelink, which is fine. I don't think it's better than Active Treason. I don't think Marauder's Axe is better, and I don't think Disenchant's better. And I don't think Fairy Miscreant's better. So I think it's Active Treason.
Okay.
Well, it's a 7/7.
Oh. Yes.
Okay. Prismite, no. Heartpiercer Bone, no. Goblin Bird Grabber. For 1 red, it can gain flying until end of turn, only if you control a creature with flying. No. Let's just use Blade Brand. Okay. Give something Death Touch. Until end of turn, draw a card. Inspired Charge, sure. It's not, like, it's not what I would pick over other things, but
there's nothing else there.
Yeah. So Inspired Charge it is. We do have 41 cards in our deck. We'll take another Blade Brand. And the Unholy Indenture. Cool.
Okay.
We will have to make 3 cuts, 4 cuts.
Okay, and we liked this one too.
This, I said, was a good... well, no. You have to be able to destroy a land. So this card is garbage.
Oh.
This card is trash.
Okay. So somebody else played it right.
Well, again, these are bots, but still.
Wow.
This is our... Why?
What?
Yes, done. What? Oh, because this is our deck. So, like, what do we want to put? I put this in the sideboard.
Oh.
So, like, if I say done, then we're done with our deck, but we're not. We want to cut 3 cards. We don't want to cut Villas. We don't want to cut Meteor Golem, or Howling Giant, or Dragon Mage, or Scholar of the Ages, or Vorse Claw. Both of our Feral Abominations are good. Overcome's good. Reduce to Ashes. Fire Elemental. Cavalier. Boneclad. Anvil Rot Raptor's good. Whoops, did I go past it? Yes. Thicket Crasher's good. 3 Lavakin Brawlers. Sleep Paralysis. Inspired Charge. Double Pulse. Feral Invocation. Goblin Smuggler.
That's kind of bad.
Yeah, we'll keep that in the back of our mind, because we do need 3 cuts.
Okay.
Active Treason is fine. Unholy Indenture is good. Aerial Assault is good. Plummet is fine. If they have no flyers, it's very bad, because it's just a dead card in our hand. Right. So that's the second one that we'll keep track of. Growth Cycle.
That one was bad because
there's only 1, but it still gives +3/+3. It's still a combat trick.
That's
3 Blade Brands is not great. I don't want 3 of them.
Okay, so you could get rid of one of those.
Yes, so that's 1. There's also a Disenchant, destroy an artifact or enchantment.
Oh, yeah, which was the last pick.
So that's 2. So now we need 1 more cut in general. Glaring Aegis, I guess, is fine. It's fine. It taps something. It's fine. We were looking at Plummet and we were looking at Goblin Smuggler.
Yeah.
Can we see? We have 20 creatures and 21 non-creatures.
That's a weird ass curve.
Well, that's because it doesn't matter. Everything's free, so who cares? Which is why we picked like 1,000,000 6+ cards. We have more 6+s than anything else.
Yeah.
Because
I've
otherwise
just
you're
never
not able to do that.
seen no 2s before.
No. We have 7 2s.
Well, but they're all non-creature.
Correct.
2s.
No creatures. Yeah, because they're bad. The
right.
low-cost creatures
Yeah,
are bad.
Yeah.
Okay, so Goblin Smuggler
Okay.
or Plummet.
Right. So you choose which one of those is worse, and we'll move on.
Why? Okay.
I just feel like flying ends up kicking you in the ass unexpectedly a lot.
Yeah, that's a fair
They'll
point.
play a flying card and you're like, shit.
Yeah.
You know, because if you don't have anything that can
Block it or kill it. Yeah,
or
I
kill
agree.
it, then you're screwed.
I
And
agree.
they will just kill you slowly.
Yeah, and Goblin Smuggler, I guess, doesn't let too many things in. So sure, we'll get rid of the Goblin Smuggler for now. And that's the deck. So, that's it. We stumbled a little bit in the beginning. We apologize for that. And again, I say we. It was my fault. But this is the deck now. We want to keep Meteor Golem as the cover art.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Very good.
It's rad. Either that or
is
the
cool.
Seth McKinnon.
Oh, the Unholy Indenture
Yeah.
one? That's really cool.
But I feel like that would be harder to see on our little deck box.
Yeah, that's
there.
fair. That's fair. All right, so that's a weird noise. Sorry, everyone. So yes, that is going to be the end of this video. Obviously, stay tuned to the channel. Next week, we will be back with part 1, with match 1, or whatever you want to call it, game 1. And yeah, we will see how we do. We will see if Amy's prediction is correct. It seems like it would be, that our opponent's decks are going to be busted and ours will be less busted because we did not do the right thing because I screwed up. But maybe we got lucky enough. Maybe Villas and Meteor Golem, Howling Giant, Dragon Mage, Scholar of the Ages, like all these big things down here will actually get us there. I think that would be really sweet.
Yeah.
So please stay, like I said, stay tuned to the channel. You guys know how YouTube works. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, do all those fun things. But for now, from us here, we will leave you. We thank you all once again so very much for watching. This has been us here on the Geek for All family of channels. I have been Joe.
And I'm Amy.
And as we always say, in whichever video of ours you watch next, we will see you all next time. Thanks, everybody.